America is not a racist country.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know, one thing about America, America will never let you down when it comes down to negativity. They are full of negativity, and it's like a bottomless pit of negativity that always comes from this place. And this story is not going to disappoint you one bit on the negativity, as usual. So, Harvard is admitting that it has the remains of 7,000 Native Americans and enslaved people. Massacre? Anyone? Genocide? Oh boy. Harvard University holds the human remains of thousands of Native American people despite the 1990 federal law requiring their return, according to a draft report leaked to the student newspaper, the Harvard Crimson. The school also holds the remains of 19 of African descent who were probably enslaved at the time they died, according to the leaked report. The draft report urged the school to speed up its return of the indigenous remains and to find appropriate descendants or affinity groups who could return, so that's for the enslaved remains to turn it over to these groups or if they have a descendant that's living. It also recommended memorialization that would restore individuality as far as possible. Our collection of these particular human remains is a striking representation of structural and institutional racism and its long half life, a draft report stated, according to the Crimson. The report was commissioned by the school last year when it formed a steering committee on human remains in the Harvard Museum collection. Y'all got these remains just to have up in a museum. They don't have no damn respect for nobody. They don't have no respect for anybody. They got these. Look at how many of them they got. 7,000 remains up in a museum. No, what you did was kept some of the people that were genocide. Okay. So the committee comprised of museum correlators and college facility and staff, including noted African American scholar Henry Louis Gates Jr. A representative for Gates said he was not available for comment. The committee chair, Evelyn Hammonds, released a statement to the Crimson saying it is deeply frustrating that the Harvard Crimson chose to release an initial and incomplete draft report of the committee on human remains. No, what you're upset because this came out. You don't want it out. You don't want everybody to know those genocide victims are up there in your museums. No, you didn't want that to leak out. That's what you're upset about. The Crimson journalist who wrote the story declined to respond to questions about how the Crimson obtained the report and why it may have been leaked. The remains are primarily housed at Harvard's Peabody Museum of Archaeology. Oh man, these people are sick as hell. These people are sick. They're sick. The museum has had a committee responsible for the return of indigenous human remains since the reparation law called NAGPRA, which was enacted in the past 32 years. It repatriated the remains of 3,000 to 10,000 individuals it once held, according to the museum's website. They done kept these genocide victims all this time, y'all. This is sick. So, Jane Pickering formally apologized in January 2021 for the slow pace, for not confronting our historic collecting practices and stewardship of all of these human remains, for our failure as an institution to face ethical and moral issues that undergirded the practices that brought them to our museum. This is, I mean, how do you apologize for this? So that means you have held on to these genocide victims for centuries. You can't even say we didn't have enough time to do this. You're lying. You can't even say that. You know, these folks really like the fact that they've done this to people to take over this country. That's why you held on to it. It's like a trophy. Y'all, they even, they're being sued because one of the descendants is suing for the photographs. And y'all know of the enslaved man and woman, which is a father and daughter in those pictures, which they have had on display numerous times and have made who knows how much money just having that on display all this time. Mm-mm-mm. And you see them in the picture, you can tell they're nude, and it says they were forced to pose nude for racist scientists back in 1850. A woman, Tamara Latimer, who said she has evidence that she is the descendant of Renty and his daughter. She is suing Harvard for the images. More than 3 dozen descendants of the scientists, Louis Agassiz, have also were asking for his images to be returned. In general, rights to photos belonging to a photographer, but there are expectations. For example, nude photos of a kidnapped victim, as a justice on the Massachusetts State Judicial Court noted in November when it heard arguments in the case. The court ruling in Harvard's case is pending. There shouldn't be no case. If these people had a righteous bone in their body, they would just give what they have stolen. Just give it back to whoever the descendants are. All this court case stuff, a lot of times they are going to court because they want to hang on to it. They don't want to give it up. Okay, so in April, Harvard released a report about the involvement in slavery and committed $100 million to redress the legacy of its injustice. Other universities in recent years have also worked to confront their ties to slavery, including Georgetown University and the University of Virginia and William and Mary. And do y'all have remains too? I wouldn't be surprised. So Harvard has an endowment valued in 2021 at 53.2 billion dollars. But y'all, no, this is unforgivable to be hanging on to that amount of people, 7,000. You know, speaking of this, about a few weeks back, I was looking at some of the genocide victims at the Catholic school where they have the mass graves of children. There were black children mixed up in there too. It wasn't just those native kids. And on top of that, what I was really sickened by were the nuns and priests. There were nuns and priests posing with these children before they were slaughtered, just posing with them like you care. And the bottom line is, you didn't care about children back then. You don't give a darn about them now. That's why all these shootings are going on up at the schools, and you have yet to do anything significant to secure these children while they're up at the school. It's just not in you to do it. It wasn't in you to do it historically, and it's not in you to do it now. Nobody is safe, and to the foreigners coming here, look at the stuff they do, holding the remains of 7,000 natives and enslaved people. you know this place is not family friendly, it is not child friendly, it's not race friendly. It's misery. That's what it is, pure misery. If you're going to come here, make your money and go. Don't make America your permanent home. Y'all, please tell me what you think about this video. I'm outraged, but let me hear what you think in the comment section. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.